Mason is on 3, if not 4.
Not bad considering he's missed half the season.
Yeah, but to digress, I wouldn't have taken him off because he understands, to me, as when I watch him as a player, even though he went in for that sliding challenge, he is so in control of his feet. If he's going to play tenacious without the yellow, he knows how this is starting to work. He can give 2 or 3 good whacks to the shins and he's not going to get the card. And then finally in the second half, he's going to get the card after being warned. He's not reckless with his challenges, especially when he's on a yellow. He's played 90 minutes on a yellow before.
So in fact, he probably shouldn't have had that yellow, in fairness.
Yeah, obviously. I was a little... If Pochettino made one decision that made me scratch my head a little bit, it was that. I know Son needed the minutes anyway. Everybody wanted to see if he would come on and have an impact. I was one of them. I didn't know that he was going to come on for Lamela. I didn't think... I almost thought maybe he would come on for Dembele, but Dembele was holding the ball up so well. And Eriksen, I thought, was playing a remarkable game. I've never seen Eriksen go up and win headers, and even challenge at times for headers. I'm talking entire matches where he just disappears defensively. I think Eriksen played the best defensive game I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I didn't think he was... So, those two were not on yellows. They were both playing exceptional. You want to bring Son on, if for nothing else, the speed. Try to run these guys into the ground the last 20 minutes. And maybe that's why that decision was made more than anything else. But if it's just me playing the match as a whole, we were playing so well. When it came to 65 minutes, I'm like, I wouldn't sub anybody. I would take nobody off. Because they've got such chemistry right now with that 11... that if you can avoid subbing anybody, don't. There's no reason for it, especially going into an international break. I didn't see a reason.
Do you think that had he left him in, that Lamela would have been aware of the situation and aware of what his responsibilities were for that last 10 minutes? Do you think he would have
because he's nominally a better defender than any other midfielder that we have that attacks.
Yeah, and
especially
I absolutely agree. And I also, and to add to that, I think he understands what's expected of him, like what fans, and the manager for that matter, want from him, and that's a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think much of our play, I know that Ali got man of the match, and this will surprise you that you'll hear this from me. Not to say they didn't have a good performance. I thought much of what we were up to was a function. Oh. There's a little poetry here. As a function of the gumption of Lamela. He was everywhere. He was an animal. And in a North London derby, you want that. And I think it was more controlled than the yellow card that he got in the second half.
I think that he's finally surrounded with players that he can figure out how to feed and that can complement him. There were times last year, especially early on last year, when he was starting to finally get integrated into this squad, you could tell they didn't want to pass the ball to him. You could tell.
There's still some of that now.
There is, and it
with Ali particularly.
Yeah,
you caught it too.
Oh yeah, you see it. You can tell that it seems like when there is a good attacking movement happening, both of them are in a position to receive the ball from the other.
That's a great point because
Lamela, not Harry Kane, and neither of them want to give the ball up to each other.
Lamela had a situation where he should have dumped the ball off to Lamela, and it would have been at least a shot on goal. And I can remember later on in the match that it was deliberate that Ali didn't do the same in return.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Interesting.
Simon, when I'm looking at my notes here and I'm trying to think how I want to ask this. The player execution. From a defensive standpoint, there's something about the way Tottenham defend, especially when I hear your viewpoints on it, that make me think of it in a different way. We did this all-out attack. We kind of talked about it briefly, and we talked about how Koscielny got turned around. Does Pochettino look and say, you know what, our back four is better than your back four, and our defending midfielders are better than yours. I don't care if it is Cazorla and Coquelin. I've got more faith in Dyer and Ali doing what they need to do, so I'm just going to go all out. Do you think that plays into it at all, or is it just a matter of, you know what, we're going to do this and not do the counterattack?
Well, when you were talking about the decision-making on the Lamela substitution, I was thinking some managers are risk averse and some love to do exactly as you say, go for it. And I think here's a weird scenario. Well, it's not so weird, but think about this. When did Lamela come off? 76?
Yeah. About 15 minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, he's on a yellow. He's already on the suspension. Now, granted, if he gets a second yellow, you're down at 10 men. It could be at any point from that 76th, 77th minute to the end of the game. And he's still going to get the same one-match suspension because it's 2 yellows is a one-match ban for the red. So why not keep him on and let the cards fall where they are? So, okay, if he gets sent off, you've got to reshuffle, but you're still in the lead. So I think he's been a little risk-averse in some areas, and I think that may be his mantra a little bit. So if that answers that question.
Yeah.
And I've seen other managers who are not risk-averse. Now, when you're down, absolutely you're going to throw caution in the wind. You're going to put 3 forwards on 4 forwards if it's that important that you can still get something out of the game. But
here's what was so bizarre about that. He put on an offensive player. It wasn't like he was taking Lamela off and putting on, another defender or a defensive midfielder. So, it's a gamble if you do nothing, because it is, because maybe he gets sent off. It's a gamble if you do put some. Well, what was the purpose of putting Son on?
Well, that's my point. If he did nothing, and Lamela did get sent off, how long do you have to go defend that 1-0 lead? You're still in the lead.
Yeah.
He made a substitution and it didn't work out for whatever reason. Luck. Yeah. Just it happened. As I said, Hugo would have probably saved that 99 times out of 100 on another day. And but I think we have to go back to what we said earlier. We have got to get better at those crosses and defending corners. First half, it didn't seem to be a worry. Second half, my God, it was woeful.
Did we even have another defensive-minded midfielder on the bench?
Mason.
Mason was on the bench. But he was already on, wasn't he? Or did he come on later?
Yeah, he was already on at that point. He came on for Ali.
So he came on for Ali.
And so there wasn't. No,
there wasn't. So if you're going to take him off, the only...
that's why. He was the only sub.
You don't want to do it, but, do you take, like, a Trippier and put him in the middle and slide Mason up? No, because then you're completely messing with the chemistry of what's going on.
And it's interesting, because I said to Sam at the pub on Sunday, when Gibbs came on, knowing that he's typically a fullback, I thought he was going to slot in. And obviously that didn't happen because he went forward and he scored the goal.
Bombing.
Yeah, because it was right about the time that Debussy got hurt, or appeared to be getting hurt, so we all thought that he was coming on for Debussy, but Debussy stayed on. Who did he? I can't remember who he got subbed. Who he subbed?
Campbell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Who wasn't that bad? Rose just defended very well.
Yeah, I think first half he was a lot more efficient, and they definitely were attacking that side of the pitch because Rose was having a bit of a torrid time in the first half. Where I think there were some moans and groans with some of his performance, but obviously, his perfect pass to Harry Kane.
Oh, what a pass!
Yeah, I think we all forgave him after that. That was magic.
Did you notice that curled over the head of Mertesacker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary pass. Well, he almost had another one later on in the game to Eriksson.
Yeah, and on Tottenham's Facebook page there was a perfect picture of Harry wheeling away from the goal while Koscielny is still sliding on his ass in the background.
Does Harry make that 3 weeks ago? Did he make that goal?
Well, that's what we said. We said 4 or 5 weeks ago Harry would have missed that.
Yeah.
Either it would have been saved or to put it wide. And I think, it's safe to say Harry's back. He scored, 4 straight games? 5 straight games?
I think it's 4.
4, I think.
Because he's got 6 goals in the league now? Is that right?
That is
it six total? I think it's 6 total, right?
Yeah. And he got 2 against City.
Had a hat-trick.
2
against Bournemouth.
Yeah, 1 against City.
1
against City. Against Bournemouth. This one he scored against Anderlecht.
That's 6.
And Villa.
Yeah, he's had 6. He's had 6 in the league.
Yeah. 7 total. He's back.
He's back. And that's good that he's back because we have West Ham and Chelsea in the league the next two, so that's going to be interesting matches.
Here's what's kind of cool about coming. My saving grace about having this draw, and I felt like, well, we've beaten that to death, but it's a learning experience, and I believe that we have the right to claim that we're a stronger team post that fixture than they are. That's just my opinion. I feel like we have something to move on from a body of work to sort of trampoline forward from, as opposed to what they did.
I don't want to compare this to the resurgence of Manchester City and climbing up the pecking order with United and making that derby more relevant. And Arsenal like to say, you're not relevant. Our rivalry is with Chelsea or United.
Bullshit.
Well, right. The way NBC was bigging this up through the week and titling it the North London Derby, it does have a lot more relevance than it has had in recent years. But there is definitely a resurgence in our part of North London. And, for a team that had gone 5 straight wins in the league and were on the rebound of an absolute hammering in Munich, should we all laugh about that real quick?
That was 5-1, by the way. 5.
Let's have a hearty guffaw. While we were winning at home against Anderlecht, albeit in the final minutes, of course, but nonetheless, we did the business while they were getting their asses spanked. And did it affect them? I don't know. But at the end of the day, we broke their 5-game winning streak, and
they're far more relieved than we are.
Scared them to death in the process.
Yeah, I think the momentum is shifting, and you can discount the Capital One Cup game. A cup game's a cup game. Anything can happen, and arguably a derby, whether it's a cup game, a league game, is effectively a cup final for the fans. We would hope it would be for the players. And I think the momentum shifts in our direction for the March match at the Lane.
Yeah. Which, Sam, you'll be at, right?
I will be, yeah. My airfare's booked.
I'm hoping I can swing that one too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be so
Get
over.
the fuck in.
Hey, I have a funny story to tell you guys, and you guys will have an appreciation for this, because sometimes details escape me. And I got a bit panicky at the pub because I realized I didn't set my DVR to record the match, and so very quickly I get on the DirecTV app and I find the match and I hit record. Well, like a complete numpty, I recorded football Inglés. So it's the Spanish feed, right, with Andreas Cantor.
Yo soy Sam.
Yes, and so I only bring this up because, Simon, you kind of mentioned it. The media is so biased to the top four, and in this match, the media was so biased to Arsenal. And I know sweet fuck all in terms of Spanish. But
uno.
But I certainly can appreciate Andreas Cantor's his voice getting more high-pitched every time Arsenal does something good. It was unbelievable, because I watched the match a couple times afterwards, and other than him going batshit crazy goal for like 5 minutes when Harry Kane scored, which is pretty cool, but it was just obvious to me that whenever Arsenal did anything good, he went like batshit crazy, like as if he was, he's been an Arsenal supporter for years, and the other, Spanish-speaking commentator was basically doing the same. It's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry, I better share that with you.
That is kind of funny, though. I mean,
watch a match in Spanish. It's kind of cool.
I've never done that. I need to do that one time.
It's kind of cool. He went. In fairness to Cantor, he did it for a long time and then did it again, and he would go. I don't know how he does it, but anyway, it was funny.
All right, on the back of this North London derby, we realized we're getting this out late, and I kind of posted out there that we were getting ready to record again and asked for some listener questions, and we appreciate the response. We got it a lot. We're going to try to get through a few of them. My buddy Shubes.
Is he Brazilian, by the way? Is he Brazilian?
I don't know.
Shubes, tell us if you're Brazilian.
I don't think so.
I think he might be. He does that Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff. I don't want to get that guy mad.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll have to ask him.
I met him in London. He recognized
Shubes, tweet us. Tell us if you're
He recognized me by my voice. He was the guy that recognized me by my voice in London.
Right,
we were at
that's right.
Horse and Carriage. Is that the name of that pub? That's over
was
there?
He stalk? Well, you think he was stalking you?
Probably.
First podcast stalker?
and only.
Yeah, right.
My one and
Hey,
only.
Shoobs tags us in everything, whether it's
Yeah, he does. Man.